everybody, today we're going to be doing some Dollar Tree DIYs that will look really great in your home and are very budget friendly. So these are just some of the materials that you're going to need for it, but these are not all of them. So let me just move these things out of our workspace. And notice I said workspace, but for this DIY you don't really need a specific workspace for it. You can even do it at a dining room table. So, now that we have that out of the way, so what you'll need is 4 frames from Dollar Tree. I used these ones, then I just glued them together, and you might notice that inside they have these little black pegs right here, which we want to get rid of because we do not like that. So I just bent them this way and then just glued the glass to the frame. But you can always just remove it with tweezers, but you'll still have to glue the glass to the frame because there'll be nothing holding it. Or you can just keep them there, but I just took them out because I didn't really like how it looked. So 4 Dollar Tree frames, glue them together, and I just took a piece of wood right here. I painted it brown to kind of go with this, and you can just stick it with super glue or wood glue or hot glue anything would work. And basically the first step of this DIY after you've done this is just, I got these 2 little Dollar Tree pumpkins, which you can always spray paint a white color, any color you'd like, but I just thought they looked pretty cute and thought they would look good with my decor without actually spray painting them. So we are just going to place these items in, and make sure to just leave a little space, but don't make them kind of be in the middle, and leave some space in between this. And then we're going to need some rocks from Dollar Tree. These you can probably find at any Dollar Tree. They're pretty popular, and just kind of pour them in. You don't want to make so much of a ruckus that you're just really loud, but you can just place them in. And make sure that they don't just hit against your glass, because I'm not sure that this is just a really great glass. It might not be super duper high quality just because it was $1 for a frame. So just kind of take note of that. It's not just going to be like the highest quality glass in the world. But I really like these Dollar Tree frames, actually. I think that they're pretty good. It's not like they'll just break if you pick them up or anything like that. And yeah, I definitely recommend them. So after you just place your rocks and make sure that it's filled in. It's okay if you can see the bottom a little bit, since I just painted the bottom, but I just recommend painting the bottom like a brown color that kind of goes with your frames. But don't worry if you don't want to go through all that trouble. You can just try to cover the bottom. And so for 1 pack of rocks from Dollar Tree, you'll have some rocks like this after all of this that you put in. And these, you can just kind of try to put them in to kind of cover any spots. But really, it's going to be okay because people are only going to see it from the side. They're not going to be staring at it and just judging it from the top. And just make sure that you like it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of put things in and play around with everything. Then just buy some moss from Dollar Tree, and you'll have a bunch left over, even with putting some of these things in, which are these are really great for putting in decor or anything like that. I'm just putting in some little sprigs, kind of just right off the bat. And just kind of play around with it, because at the beginning I put it in and I didn't really like it with another DIY that I did like this kind of. And I just didn't like how it looked at all, so I just kind of had to play around with it for a little bit. So I'm not loving how it's looking right now, but I'm sure that if I just keep adding some, so just try to tuck the ends into the rock so it looks a little bit better that way, in my opinion. But you don't need to. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with. placing this in right here. And make sure to just kind of place it in your own way. Don't stress about this. It's just a simple little DIY that you can do. It's not like it's the end of the world if you mess up. You can always redo this. And the thing I really like about this is that you don't need any hot glue for it, just for the frames. But then the items in here you can reuse. Maybe you can't reuse the frames, but what you could always do, which is actually a pretty good idea, is that you can put images in here and it'll be kind of like a cube of images, which I've actually seen those. And they're actually quite expensive, so that would actually be a really good DIY. I might do it in one of my videos. Yeah, just kind of put it in, play around with it. I try to kind of put it in between and kind of just like do kind of like it's sprouting around the pumpkins, but you can really do anything that you want. So I'm pretty happy with how it's looking right now, honestly. And I also have this pine cone left over from another DIY that I did, and you can always place it in. I'm just gonna see if it looks that way. It might be nice if you have two just for symmetry. So this is how it's just looking right now. I am not too happy with the pine cone, so I'm just going to remove that. I'm just adding some more moss in between right there. And I just have some of this moss, and I'm just going to like sprinkle it on. Let it just go and do its thing in there. It's always great to give it a natural look, so add some greenery. I like the moss because I don't really like the picks that they have at Dollar Tree. They're always just nice, but they just look pretty plasticky since they're pretty cheap. So I like this moss because it is real moss. It only costs $1 for a large bag, and you'll have a bunch left over after this DIY. It also looks real, and I just love that about it. I don't want it to just look fakey or plasticky, so this just gives it a nice green touch. And I really like that about it. You can also add maybe a wood touch, but if your frame is kind of like a wood color, then you don't need that. But let me just show you how this DIY turned out. So this is how it's looking right now. I think that it looks really nice with the pumpkin, those rocks in there. These rocks are actually a really great deal for $1. It's not like they can be bad quality or anything because they're just rocks, of course. And just another look from the top of how nice that looks. And these actually, if you buy them at a high-end store, they're very expensive. Not even with the decor inside, just this. It's surprisingly expensive. So this didn't cost very much, and you'll have a bunch of leftovers. I had a bunch of leftover rocks, a bunch of leftover moss. So really, most of these items you can technically just use for many other things. So that's basically just how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It just really helps support my channel. And just try to share it with your friends. And yeah, have a great day.